Right, we've got the bumper back from the powder coaters and the truck's back in. We're going to have another go at trying to fit this winch bumper. They charge $130 to paint, powder coat the bumper. Not too bad, I suppose. Let's have a look and see what it's like. As you can see, I am now in my summer wear. It's boiling hot outside now, it's about 30 degrees. It's kind of warm. I'm just going to slit open this wrapping from the back. We'll see what sort of a job they've made of it. Now, I did do a few modifications to this for those bumper brackets, because if you can remember when I tried it the first time, I had a hell of a job on this side trying to fit the bracket. It just wouldn't go in, but I actually modified the bumper because it seemed to be it wasn't cut right, if you see what I mean. So anyway, we've done that. Oh dear. Oh, poor old knees. What's it look like? Oh, it's like a bumper. Now, obviously they haven't gone to such a process of you know, like taking all the galvanising ripples out or whatever. Well, hold on now. At least it's galvanised underneath. The sad thing is, it sort of looks a bit like, in a way, it just looks a bit like it's rusty, but it isn't, it's galvanised. Ah, it's not too bad. Yeah, the galvanised finish isn't, is showing through. It would have been nice to spend a bit of time on it, but it's powder coated all the way through, so that's nice. We'll see. I mean, put it this way, it's better than it was. So, what I'm going to do now is take the grill off and then take the bolts off here, 17mm. I'm taking the grill off because you can't quite get onto here straight with a gun to get them off. So, take this off again, get this bolted on, and let's drop that winch on. Dear me, what a life. These are the blocks I was talking about. One of the wings here was catching on the bumper, so what I did prior to powder coating, I had it cut out and ground. Well, I cut out and ground it, so it would take this wing so it would go in nice and square, because what was happening was, it was kicking over like that. That's why I had a struggle trying to get the bolts in. Now, why I'm doing this is that somebody said that these go in from the back. Well, no, you can't get them in. They won't go in from the back. You have to go in like that, look. If you see what I mean? They can't go in. So, I hope that's satisfied that. Let's get this bumper on. So that's the bumper on. Essential piece of kit is a little podger, like this. So you can put it down and align the hole up. I like these new fastenings for the bumper, but they're not perfect. I could make a far, far better idea than that. Well, let me show you. Sorry. If you could understand, I cut this piece out to accommodate that clip because it was catching on the winch bumper, and so this one's got a nice space and so is this one. But they're still fiddly to get in. If it was me, I would have made them left and right and put on this piece here a twist in it so you could put a pair of pliers on it and just get a good hold of it and make it longer. But that's just me, what do I know. Also, when you're putting this back together, make sure that the two pieces of chassis and two pieces of bumper are completely nipped together. This is heavy stuff, if you see what I mean. So you don't want it wobbling loose. So the next thing, let's pop that winch on, which has been used as a doorstop for the last couple of weeks. First thing I'm going to do is put the fair lead on. Now, I'm not really sure which way it goes on, but, well, I do know which way it goes on, but I'm not sure which set of holes it uses. So basically what I'm going to do first of all, is I'm going to put it on. Well, lo and behold, the bloody bolts don't go through the holes. Well, that's good. That's a good start, isn't it? Which hole does it go through? Let's find out. Right, so it's going to draw. I think I'm going to put it at the bottom. Having got the fair lead on, it was full of galvanised, but I've given it a quick spray of crown rust proofing. We're now going to fit the winch on itself, and it's got some of these little sort of square captive nuts that goes into the winch. But I've noticed on this winch bumper itself there are some slots so you can move it around. They didn't come with any washers, just expected it all to be in line, so I've got some nice big heavy washers that's going to do a fine job. I'm going to fiddle around with that because everything's been a fiddle so far, and let's see what we have to do next. So I've got the winch bolted on. I put some thread guard on the bolts. I've also put this little bracket on here for the control box, the solenoid box. I've noticed that there's a little lead on here that says motor ground. So I think I'll put that onto the connection here. The instructions are a bit sort of vague, but never mind. But what we've got to do before we mount the box on is put the cables on, and they are colour coded, so you can't really go wrong, as if. And then we'll pass this big cable through and see where we're going to put it on. Now, obviously it's a Land Rover and the battery's way back there. I don't know. Do I take it off the back of the starter? The power? It's the same thing, isn't it? And the ground, well, we'll find a place for it somewhere inside. Right, the next part of this conundrum is you've got to fit the cables. They're colour coded so you can't go wrong. Yellow to yellow and earth to earth, ashes to ashes. But the tricky part is you've got a mounting bracket on here which goes through the retainers for these tubes here. The problem is, how do you fasten the nuts up? So I've come to this conclusion. If we tip that up and put the controller, I don't know, how's it going to go now? Oh, I'll have to go like that, look. Man, there's bloody cables everywhere on it. I used a bit of crown rust proofing. And on these connectors here, there is no shake-proof washers like anyway, split washers. So I don't know how you're supposed to put this together. It's just a bloody joke, really. Anyway, never mind. We'll get in there. But if you tip this up, you can get to the bolts. You know. But I can't see any other way of getting to it. Maybe it's easier if you put this on the winch and then put the winch bumper on. But I wasn't going to bust my bottom trying to get this on. So no doubt these will be metric. It's a real dog's dinner of nuts and bolts. There's some metrics, there's some inch. I don't know. I wish Americans would just decide to do the metric system. It'd be so much easier. I've just made a childish schoolboy type error. I should have put the grill on before I put this box on because I can't get to the screw here. What a muppet. So, I found out it was one of those catch-22 type things. You couldn't put the box on with the grill on because you couldn't tip the box up to get the screws from underneath. So I took the grill off, and I'll tell you something, the screw that goes under here is missing. I've got all the rest in, but I can't put the screw in for the grill. I could do if I want to take the bumper off, but I ain't going to do that. I've only got one back, and I'm not going to break my back lifting that bloody lump of thing off. It's never going to get used. So the next thing, I've wired it up because the starter on this truck is on the right hand side. So I just simply put a connection onto the back of the starter that goes to the battery anyway, and the ground, well, straight to the chassis. So it should work. Oh, shoot. It's American, isn't it? Or is it Mexican? I'm not sure. Let's have a go. Hey, look at that. No, wait a minute, which way is it? So that is winching out. Oh, that's right, it's right way around as well. Bloody hell. Will wonders never cease? God, it's 35 degrees now. It's even hotter outside. What a strange country, isn't it? It's minus 35 in winter and plus 35 in summer. I better put the cable on then. This has got to be one of the most stupidest, imbecilic ideas ever. We're fitting a synthetic rope, nothing wrong with that. But the attachment is a special attachment that goes onto the side of the drum. And what you're supposed to do is simply put that on like that. Easy. However, the edge of this is tight against the drum, so you have to fit this first. But as you can see, the screw will hardly go through. What a mess about. I mess about for half an hour, still can't get it on. The problem is, my Allen key is too long. So when I turn it, I'm actually, it hit the drum and it pushes up, if you see what I mean. I've got to think of a better way. But you see, when that goes through, there, that's all the thread you've got. Bruh, what a cracker's idea. And the thing is, it's bloody 1/4 thread. And I thought about putting a nut in there, but I don't think I'd get a socket in it. I have no other types of screws. But if I put one longer, it might hit the body of the winch. Man, oh man, I'm going to have to think of something here. I wonder. It's on. What a mess about. But doesn't it look good? It goes with the big wheels and leather seats. So that's it. All I've got to do now is tidy some wires up. I've given it a good old rust proofing. Obviously because it's going to be outside, so a bit of crown on it will help. I could have really done with fastening it to a pole and pulling the car forwards and tightening that drum even more, but you can do that. It looks alright, doesn't it? Right, we'll sign this off, it's done. I'm not going to test it. It does come with a remote kit, which actually fits in the top of here. It's like a plug-in, and then there's another piece, but quite frankly, that's a job for another day. It works on the cable, and yeah, that's it. Let's sign this off. Let's go and have a nice refreshing sherry.